Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Enlighten Up podcast. I hope you're all doing fantastic and fabulous today. We are a month into the first month of 2026, and we have a very big episode for you today on the full moon in Leo. Of course, joining me, my co-pilot, my mystic of choice, Mary Dusina, is here to break down a lot of this with you today. Mary, how are you doing today? I know you were caught up in you were supposed to be caught up in the snowstorm. How did it all fare?
I prepared. I was a prepper. I prepped for my dog and whatever was needed to be, and relocated and did this or that and the house protections. And then I went, as my country mama used to say, and my Halloween birthday is a little piece of this too. And I went out and I started having some words with the sky. And I went out with gratitude. And I've been much inspired by the visuals of this 2026 Buddhist walk of peace with the dog. And I just wanted to start working more with frequencies. And so it missed us. And so I went back out and thanked the sky that whatever the precip was, it melted the ice that would be, whatever froze in the last couple of nights that became the ice from the 100% day of rain on, the mid part of the storm that could have been so much more worse. So I said, I have the responsibility and the reciprocity to go back out to my biological mother nature and back out to the celestial frequencies and rays of light and the power of prayer and the power of gratitude, and go out and say, thank you. Oh, I see it. I got it. It is supernatural. It is paranormal. And it's my kind of spiritual majesty. And I bow to it in gratitude. Thank you. And then I am now speaking to the spirit of our Leo full moon, to the spirit and essence of our great spiritual sun. We have father sun, grandfather sky, and indigenous cultures. And so then we have the play on words of the risen sun and the rising sun, as well as the baptism and the resurrection of our Christed or illumined selves. And so I really want to take a moment of presence to everybody just to breathe in, maybe put your hands on your heart on replay or live, and just let yourself know that this full moon is a dimensional multitasker that opens up our heart center chakra. And so it is about acknowledging the strength that it took for us to go through the paths, the side paths, the ups and downs, the storms, the valleys, and the mountain climbs of 2025. And now we're moving, as we move into soon, this full moon, this second month of the year of our Lord, known as 2026, the beginnings, the month of the fire horse now with this full moon in Leo. Just put the light radiating into you as an antenna from above, in your breath, into the heart center, and just forming those wonderful, beautiful, prosperous, protective manifestations of rays and energies coming into you from the presence, the divine presence, recalibrating, and then going out, because Leo is the most magnanimous sign, and going out as and with the presence, the divine alignment in your heart going out into our planet, into our world, so we can experience both receiving and giving the peace that passes all understanding. That's this Leo Aquarius dynamic for me right now.
Yeah, there's a lot that's been going on, and I think this full moon there's been a lot of buildup to this particular full moon. And there's been a lot of buildup because we have, obviously we're talking about not just the sign of Leo, but its opposite, Aquarius. And when we look at what's happening in Aquarius, we have all of our personal planets, the sun and Pluto, in Aquarius, and all of them have passed over Pluto, which in evolutionary astrology represents our soul. And so it's almost like we've rewritten these new soul contracts, okay, for for Mars, the next 2 years, for Venus, maybe the next 18 and a half months, and so, and of course the sun is a year or so. And I think it's important to understand that Aquarius is always future driven, right? As you and I were talking before we went to live, Aquarius is very future forward. It's about rockets and space and innovation and invention and breaking free of old paradigms and its systems, its networking, it's bigger than just the I of Leo, like the me of Leo, right? And so there's something with this particular full moon that I personally, and also Mary and I were talking, she agrees, it is kind of bringing in this harbinger of change, a foreshadowing, a 2-year global timeline split that is going to cover the emotional aspect, the creative aspect, the social, and even the political aspect. We're going to see that. This is really about old self versus emerging self. Okay, so what is kind of coming in? And everything from Aquarius is lighting up this full moon in Leo. And so I really do feel we went through a lot of change in 2025. And even speaking to clients of mine, friends, and how I personally feel, there does seem to be a little bit of a residual of 2025 still in the mix here in 2026. But that's going to probably end over the next few weeks as we get into the eclipse season, which this full moon is taking us into. And you're going to see this full moon is likely going to highlight something of big change that you're going to see unfold over the next couple of years. Of course, full moons are just looking at the next 6 months, right? And you're going to see things unfolding over the next 2 weeks too, leading into the new moon in Aquarius. But there's something about this leading up into the eclipse season where we finally have our new eclipse season moving into Aquarius, where the North Node is in Aquarius, and we haven't seen that in 18 and a half years. Of course, the North Node is not yet in Aquarius, but the new moon will be an Aquarius solar eclipse. So what I've noticed is that there is change that is just up. It's like an upheaval of change. It's coming up, and there's just so much that's purging out of our lives that no longer has a place here anymore. And there's grief that can come with that, right? There's this grief of like, what is happening? Like, why am I losing this? Or why is it not here anymore? Because there's a comfort of knowing what you know. And I would say this to you. I think one of the themes for this full moon that is also going to unfold through the eclipse season of what's coming up with the Aquarius Leo, as we're going to feel it in a couple of weeks, but it's going to have its full changeover in the summer, is you don't have to necessarily know where you're going, but it's time to stop pretending that your old map is still working for you today. And that is something that I've been recognizing, that whatever map I've been using, it stopped working for me personally about 4 or 5 months ago. And I felt like this big crash coming down around my identity and my work and my mission and my purpose. And, who am I working with? Who am I working for? And it's just, there's all of these questions that have been coming up. But when we really look at this, if I were to even think back to 9.5 years ago, right? Because the eclipse season is 18.5 years fully, but in between we have the nodes changing. So that's like a 9.25 years. And this was when my business that I launched online was around this time. Okay. It's when we were coming out of the Pisces Virgo and into the Aquarius Leo. And that was when the North Node was in Leo. And that was when we saw the rise of a lot of people on social media, influencers, YouTubers, podcasts just blew up from that time frame. Even though they were starting before then, that's when you really saw the surge. And it's because Leo really represents, like, it's the performer in all of us, right? It's the one who wants to be on stage, be seen, speak from your heart, lead with your heart. Who do you want to be known for? And there was something about that where we were all like leaning into that, right? There, and that's where like a lot of the industry started to grow. But now that the nodes have shifted 9.25 years later, and we are going to see that, there's something about this full moon in Leo that is saying what is not in your heart anymore, and what is in your heart now that wants to be expressed. And so there's something that's leading us, and we have to, whenever we have these Leo full moons, it is calling on us to light up an area that we want to lead from our heart, that is calling on us to step out in some way. But I do feel that it's going to be through new systems. So Aquarius, all of the planets being in Aquarius, new systems. AI may have something to do with that. AI will likely also not have anything to do with that for some of you. We are heading into a timeline split, and this is going to be something, and I'm Mary, this is where I really would love your insight into this. Next week, I have a top psychic coming on the show. We've already recorded. And she is going to make a prediction that she has not made on any other podcast. She's been on tons of podcasts. Like she gets hundreds of thousands of views per show. And she shared on my podcast something where social media is going to go through a very big change. Where you thought you could show up and make money, you will not in the ways that you used to. And things are really changing. And we're going to see also this dynamic of split of people really leaning into AI, which I think is going to be very big and bring in dramatic change for us as a society. But also we're going to see the pull away from that. The people that are just like, it's not for me. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Again, there is nothing wrong with either or. Both splits, I think, have valid reasons, but both splits have something to learn from one another as well. And so there is something where we're going to be seeing these new systems coming in that are pushing us to show up in new ways and express our heart in new ways. Mary, I'm just curious what your thoughts on all of that.
Well, to your point, the Aquarian stellium right now, when we have a planetary parade, if you will, dynamically enhancing mainly the close in to the sun personal planets that are kind of like our 3D world, lining up with the energetic lord of the underworld and what's at the platform and the roots and how the roots are branching out. Pluto in Aquarius for a while yet, and these other self-identifying, the Leo and the Aries things that are going on. Neptune, January 26th in Aries, Saturn popping in the mid-February time, and the alignments. And this is the I am. Leo is the I will. So the Aries aspect of the fire of innovation, the Aquarius inventions, the new pioneers of some of the unseeable, can't hold it, touch it, signals and vibrations of Aquarius and how it can best serve me and thee, Leo, And the Aries part of it saying, I'm impatient. I want everything to go faster. And this is where some of the biohackers can get in, whether it's in pharmaceutical or AI, IT, computer worlds, and the whole off-planet disclosure discovery thing, instead of being, a pipe dream. I feel like, if anything, the Aquarius blast of the eclipse that happens, in February, mid-February on the 17th, Ring of Fire eclipse, I believe that we're going to get a lot of eye-opening truths and awarenesses as to how we really are so much more than we've been allowed to believe, or the media pushing away from how powerful we are, and why do both the dark and the light forces prize the soul, and how we are connected with the divine. I believe all of this is going to roll out to be an artist of our spiritual anchors, and to be creators of how we're manifesting and realizing, first, the difference between attention seeking, or fragmented attention, when you and I don't fully lean into something, or we're distracted, or we're multitasking too much, or we're procrastinating, whatever it is. There's a difference in the first 3 months of 2026, especially between the frequencies and the dynamics and how the wheels turn in the toolbox of life, of attention. You getting it, you giving it, but getting fragmented, or a frustration point. There's the attention versus presence. That's the energy shift right now. We're, the literal last footprint of Saturn completing, as it spends 2.5 to 3 years in just one zodiac sign. Saturn completing that entire 30-year, we'll round it off, 30-year cycle. Like the last time Saturn was in Aries, where it's arriving, when it was in Aries, was 30 years ago. Look back. You can be a time traveler. You can be a timeline jumper. The you that experienced these things in the eclipse cycle of 2005 and 2006, when the North Node was in Aquarius, then jump back 29 to 30 years. If you're 17 and listening to this, look back into where your main household, your family, what was going on between them in the moves, in the work and all of that. So you get the stories. If you're older, you can certainly, it's easier to look back and jot down 3 to 7 key points and themes of what mattered most to you then, because this is a higher shift. This is higher frequency. This is Leo. This is the radiations, and we're in solar maximum cycle anyway. This is coronal mass ejections and the CMEs, and this has to do with solar storms, and this has to do with, whoa, that was interesting, and versus yet another division, those people that are discerning, very important spiritual fire thing right now, discerning whether some of these solar storms and aurora lights are naturally manufactured and happening along with our Mother Earth's heartbeat in harmony with the atmosphere of the etheric, the heavenly realms, or the steering and potential of weather manipulation and harps and cerns and things like that. These are all Aquarian. There's plus and minus, perhaps even a little nefarious or sinister or villain, victim versus victory, when we go through the energetic signatures of all the 12 signs, because the divine God has gifted us with free will. So we are going to get shown things, beguiled and bewitched and betrayed and fascinated and advanced with whatever we get into congruence with, and that's our willpower. That's what we commit to. So right now, this Aquarius dynamic that Nicole's talking to you about meets up with the regal lion. We have the 4 royal Arabian stars. We have Aquarius and its polarity opposite sign of Leo. That's dynamic right now. The other 2 are Taurus and Scorpio. We've got some big shifts going on with Uranus going out of Taurus as we come up here real soon. But there's just so much for any astrologer to be talking about right now, as far as trying not to get lost in the jungle with all the details and data of the planets that are dancing with this and squaring off with that and opposing this. Just look at the actual flavors of these changes, like Aquarius is heavenly in your breath and what you're breathing life into. And do you fight or flight? Do you fawn or faint? Aquarius is about your feelings. You matter. Your feelings of what's supporting you psychologically, spiritually. How do you relax your mind, your thoughts? How do you not get the racing monkey mind, the hamster on the wheel? Aquarius is about, it's okay for you to self-nurture. That's also Jupiter retrograde in Cancer right now. When I thought about this Jupiter in Cancer, the great beneficial energy in the Western zodiac, and I thought about all this Aquarius stuff, I thought, wow, the United States chart, as I kind of sort of remember it in my head after 4 decades, is basically a solar Cancerian, and there's an Aquarian moon, and I'm pretty sure most charts that people work with has a Sag rising. So we've got this dynamic of the exalted Jupiter wanting to bless us to self-nurture, to stand in our power and be patriotic to our country of origin or the country that we choose to live in, to respect that land, to respect those cultures, to be the best, better versions of ourselves. And then you've got all these Aries planets coming in that are favoring the fire signs and the air signs, although it is a polarity opposition to Aquarius, and it's saying, what now do you deem worthy of your presence? Where, who, how, or why is the stability? There's your keyword. What is the real stability? Not part-time attention or part-time devotion or commitment. What is the stability in your soul and your spirit aligned with your willpower, your expression, your thoughts, your beliefs? This is the big reset that we've been going through. And this full moon ties back to August of 2025, because this was when, late July, August was when we were in the sun in Leo, Leo's ruler. We had the sun in Leo between the 3rd week of July 2025 and mainly blooming out very strong with new moons and such, and the August part of Leo in 2025. I told you then, 6 months forward, you could look back just to late July, August of 2025, literally 6-7 months. You could look back at all the intensity and all that you have discovered about sincerity and bravery. We're soul soldiers now. We are soul soldiers, which means we don't have to learn our valuable karmic soul contract lessons through difficulty anymore. We don't have to have it as a battlefield. We can simply calibrate more of our presence rather than just energy or just frequency, just what you're radiating out, just what you're receiving, the transmission within you. To be able to know that you are both an antenna that receives and gives. Right now, the supernatural grace, the protocols of light are open to be able to give to us at our core level of our roots. You know, we're to look at 3 things right now. Our rootedness, where you feel unmovable in your truth. Doesn't matter about the outside scenarios or conditions. This is your grounding practices. You hike, you swim, you soak your feet, you get massage, you do yoga. It's palpable. It's the touch, taste, sense vibrations of how you're improving your body temple. Then it's your openness. This is the Aquarian phase of it. This is the new zodiac cycle of Aries. The zodiac starts over at Aries. This is the moving from the depths of us, of Pisces and Neptune, and moving into now we are the voyager. We are the pioneer. We are the inner child that doesn't just get stuck psychologically in anger fits, temper tantrums, covert or overt. That are we screaming inside? Are we screaming and throwing tantrums inside ourselves, but externally we've got the corners of the mouth up as a mask? So this is a time where we truly need to examine our own selves as soldiers of fortune, soldiers of fate. There's going to be a rise in firefighter appreciation, hirings in those areas, the energetics of fire. I personally predict and feel and am grateful that there's going to be such deep investigations and realizations like Erin Brockovich did over like that water, the whole thing that she exposed to do with that. I see these kind of advocates that aren't into playing political games, but are coming forth to really let the people know this was wrong, you were right, So trust your intuition. It isn't just the shaming, blaming. And so I think we're going to see about the Palisades fire that were like January of 2025 and the dynamics that went into place, pro and con with that. Things about fire, things about space, coming from space, going on in space. I feel we will hear more about Space Force, and I feel that within the next this 6 months, we can even have some real whoa moments to do with our own spiritual core visioning and ability to literally be shown visions and to be able to interpret visions for ourselves, not from other psychics or claiming to be prophets or this or that, but your own dynamic with your own God gifted dynamic tool of intuition and discernment. So these things that will prompt you and motivate you will be at the deepest core levels that you've probably been shown in such an intense way until this time. That's the real differentness of this openness of this cycle. And then the coherence. That's the third door. That's the third key that unlocks you, like that you are in conference. You have coherence. You are unified with every major layer of you, your thoughts, your mind, your body, your physical temple, and the energetics of your willpower. They're all sending a compatible or unified signal. There is no contradiction, or if it occurs, you deal with it. There is no contradiction between what you project, transmit, or what you embody, receive, and whether you're giving it out or taking it in, you are well rooted in the seeds of light that you are and what you know. That's our work. What you're learning, it's an ongoing process of the best, better version of you. So we are both being recalibrated by our higher spiritual codes, allies, angels, beloveds in spirit, ancestors. We are literally, because of the Aries and the Aquarius being so compatible, that sextile term that's used in astrology, we are going to be receiving really tangible, oh my God, instead of I can't touch that, I don't believe it, it's going to be like that not only touched me, that moved me, and I'm changed, and I am grateful. It's almost like that whole genuflect, get on your knees, go, whoa, for me, glory, that kind of thing. I love the glory. So there's some real dynamics going on to where between you, and the divine, you're going to have confirmations, big confirmations. And I think that's the gift of the first 3 months of this year, going into that lunar eclipse of the sun in Pisces and the moon full in Virgo, and it's the blood moon. So we've got these really dynamic gifts right now that are helping us see exactly what we need to disengage our energy from a little bit, and know that there's new currency, and it's important for us to be stable and where we invest our intention.
Yeah. And you said a word there that I think is really important. It's vision. And I think there's a lot of change in vision that is happening, especially when you have all of our personal planets in Aquarius, and you have the sun there right now. For me personally, I've noticed the downloads are a lot stronger. I'm getting guidance from above, as you called it, like the heavenly. Aquarius is very heavenly, on really what all of my next steps are, and following those and having those open up new things. I think right now, everyone, it's really important to be so in tuned with your higher self, with your creator, the heavenly realm, to perhaps open up more of your vision of what is possible, because when you have Pluto in Aquarius, do expect that your vision for the future is going to go under a lot of change, a lot of death and rebirth. We are all for the next 18 more years or so, with Pluto representing the soul on an evolutionary level, is that we're all going through very deep change. And we're going to experience it at such rapid speeds that we are, if you've thought like the last 20 years was really fast, this is going to put that to shame. And so when we have this full moon in Leo coming up, it's really asking you and highlighting to you, even for some of you, maybe even exposing something that needs to be understood or seen or felt, more importantly, of what is it that you truly desire? Like, what is it that you want to, how do you want to lead into this world? What is your creative expression? What lights you up? And really have that come from you through perhaps a very big changed vision. I mean, as Mary said, and I actually would love to go into it, we are heading into a very, very intense period of 2026. The eclipse season has already opened because we are 2 weeks away from the solar eclipse in Aquarius. We will then have a lunar eclipse in Virgo. And sandwiched in between those two eclipses is one of the biggest transits we could ever feel in our lifetime, is going to be the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries. And for all of you who listen to this podcast and Mary's broadcast, okay, you are likely very spiritual in nature. Okay. You likely are into some sort of healing. You're into the energetics of stuff. You're into working with the unseen realms. This is where your opportunity to become a leader, to step forward in some capacity, okay, is going to be birthed. It is a time where if you step forward, you will be rewarded. And I think coming into such deep, intense change can sometimes be very difficult to navigate, because it can come up with this place where you can feel what's coming up, but you don't know how to name it. You don't know how to put it into words. You're not really sure, like, is it this? Is it that? Like, it can start to feel a little convoluted, which can be that very Neptunian energy, right? Especially with Neptune now officially in Aries, which it will be there for, I think, the next 13 or 14 years. And so we are all in Aries going through a very spiritual shift in how we identify ourselves, how we show up in the world, how we move forward, where our willpower is coming from. All of those things are going to be changing. And so I will say this, now is no better of a time to maybe get a reading with Mary, to have her look at your chart, or if you want, I've also, I do intuitive readings, and I've opened them up for this week only, okay, for you to book in until the end of this week, to really get an idea of what's going on. What are these changes all about? Where are you being pushed? Where are you being drawn to let go of that you can no longer hold on to because you're done with it? It's like you may not know where you're going, but it's time to stop pretending that whatever this is still it. Okay? Because there is this grief of really leaving behind a part of you that got you here, but it's not going to take you further. And that's the Aquarian part really stepping in, is like, what's taking you into the future? And what is heart leading for you with this Leo full moon? So I think, Mary, do you want to just jump in and explain, because this will have already happened when we have you on the show next. This Saturn-Neptune conjunction on the 20th of February that is kind of sandwiched between these two eclipses. How changing is this for people, kind of going in, because it is in a way bringing like this new persona that is really calling for the structure. Like, the one thing that I see with a lot of us when we're in more of the healing and more spiritual spaces, energetic spaces, is that we know how to navigate the unseen realms and that space without needing to put a lot of definition around it, or, but with Saturn coming into the mix and being in Aries, like, it's go time. It's time to initiate. It's time to start it and build with Saturn, something that is long standing, right? Something that is going to mature over time. And so where we may have been really easy to just work in these very kind of, fluffy and spacious kind of place we actually have to bring structure to now?
Yeah, well questioned, because when, besides the February 20th coming together of Saturn, the parent, the principal, the rabbi, the CEO, the leader of this particular part of the factory or the team or the unit, the drill instructor versus who the drill instructor salutes. We've got Saturn structure, Nicole's choice of blooming that out to you pictorially, and it's going to align, it's going to shake hands, it's going to say, walk with me. Neptune and Aries at this point that she's talking about, February the 20th. Before that, as we celebrate in the USA, Valentine's Day, Valentine's week, we've got Saturn moving into Aries on the 13th, and it's now moving into Aries, not just dipping its toe in the water. And when you've got Saturn staying in Aries, it'll be there till about 2028. The energies. Now, look, again, I'm going to tell you on this particular episode with this full moon, Leo's leveling us up. There's a difference between a spark, a shock, an energy that feels good or comfortable, a stimulus, kind of motive, the cattle prod, and then when it's just like, yeah, that's my frequency, that's my vibe. The reason you turn, the dial on the remote or the stereo, punch the buttons and add it to your favorite list. There's a lot of music shifts it's an era. This is an era. So we're going to see dynamic things in tech. We're going to see dynamic things in individuality. We're going to see people wanting to make a more of a commitment to a belief, do AI or not AI, make a belief, and they want to be in that tribe and they want to be in that movement. So there'll be the people that are innovative and progressive in that. And then there's, even maybe some of the people that might not feel with their discernment to be drawn to a lot of involvement with the AI and those kind of things, and robotics and all of that, Bluetooth, wherever that's going. They may be carrying the memory crystals and the stones of the elders and our grandparents and our wisdom teachers and the books we read and the podcasts that moved us and the people that were inspiring that may never, ever even know our names or meet us. But I carry today still the gratitude of Paramahansa Yogananda, Khalil Gibran, Rumi, a lot of these, some of the astrological writers that I gave some books away and kept some, saying, if the grid ever went down, yeah, I'd kind of like that book. So there is that still that you can call it a divide, but there's that division. There's that tribe that carries the memory of 50 years before you were born, and what did we learn from that, and where can we go from here? There's where we can go from here's Aquarius, the loyalty, the intentions, the heroes, the warriors. That's the Leo. The regal part of whatever we want to have come our way. Are we going to manipulate our way into it, victim or villain, or are we going to find a way to engage ourselves with the right energies, and however that plays out, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual practices. And then we allow the grounding of our mother. We allow the grounding of our Gaia, our mother nature, to soothe us and hug us. And we look at the limbs and the antenna and the roots and the stability of the trees. That's Uranus and Taurus finishing up since 2011-ish. So there's like some dynamic times between 2007 and 2011 that are saying to us, hey, it's 2026. I'm now an echo. I'm now filled with memories, teachings, lessons, challenges, overcoming. You graduated. You're here. You're healing this. You're feeling this, and you are here. Now look back at the strengths that got you through, as Nicole said earlier, that got you through and over it. Then take that pause and actually celebrate your mind, your beliefs, your strengths, your determination, and your risk factor vulnerability to say, I don't care what they're saying. I'm going to do it this way because it felt right and it trained you, and you became both a leader as well as a soldier. You became both recognizing the earthling creature that you are, and what also sustains you as a workable, viable, palpable energy pack refuel station. So that's the Aquarius stuff that can't always be explained, but oh, Lordy day. When it hits you and it's a vision and it's a knowing and you are forever changed, I don't give a damn whether they agree with me. I don't care whether they think I'm making it up or not. I was moved from there to here and now. So Aquarius is getting you repositioned now. And Leo has to do with the new heart fire connected with your crown chakra, connected with the violet flame, Saint Germain, connected with the will to be and the comfort with that level. I was talking to someone earlier today, Nicole, and I said, one of the lessons that my guides have been, giving me discipline on and reminding me this is now a priority, get into step with it. This is the lane that we want you to do and talk to others about, is that we, Leo, the formula of, instead of fear, faith, or gratitude and thankfulness. And sometimes thankfulness is stuff that didn't happen to us, that we visually heard and saw happening in the world of people. And I won't even go into whether it's good or bad, just it happened there and you escaped it, kind of a thing. You saw it riding down the road and it wasn't, you were someone that we knew, you knew. So what's happening right now is there's a dynamic that's saying to you, could we just discipline ourselves, Leo, heart center, could we just discipline our focus and allow the presence of not zooming too fast past the thing that we wanted to have happen and manifest? And there was all kinds of debates whether it would or it wouldn't, and it did, and it was nice, and it was a gain giver, versus how much time we spend on overanalyzing it and what if this and what if that, and oh damn, what am I going to do if that doesn't happen? And how in our humanness, in our 3D self, we tend to think of only like, oh, I don't know, maybe two things that could happen, yes or no, instead of all the moving parts that come from the etheric, the Aquarius, the beginning, Aries, the faith, Leo, all the things that are coming together right now with the Aquarius principle of saying, you do know, just look back 100 years, you do know that you are advanced in so many different kind of ways, sped up, really quickened, really, from what was available to the human culture about 100 years ago. You do know there's been advances with that. You do know there's been mistakes that have been discovered. Do you not see how there's some kind of futuristic ass thing going on versus 100 years ago that's going on with our culture? There's always been the dark versus the light. We're going to see food improved. We're going to see farms protected. We're going to see exposés, especially through March, till we get to the beginning of this, true beginning of this year, when we get to spring equinox in the Northern Hemisphere in the third week of March, after that Virgo eclipse of the Earth Mother over March 2nd and 3rd. We are going to get a very big, you graduated, here's the celebration, here's the gifts of that. I firmly believe that Saturn never leaves a sign after its 2 3/4 3-year time in one sign. It never leaves a sign without giving gifts. So Pisces and Virgo, for the last 3 years, had the energetic signature of Saturn, the taskmaster. Saturn, oh, you will face it now. Here's a mirror. Here's a mirror. Want to look at your aura? Let's look at your face and your eyes first. Look at yourself. Yeah. So that's Saturn. And then we had Neptune longer in the sign of Pisces. It was like, hey, I'm Neptune. I'm Poseidon. I'm the Greek and Roman guy that rules all over the oceans. I mean, yeah, you can let your emotions come to high tide or low tide. There's a lot of things you're going to learn about yourself emotionally and psychologically. And, oh, I'm right here to tell you how to get to the spiritual elevator, too, over the last 3 years. But it was intense for people that have Virgo risings, Pisces risings, or solar, their sun positioned at their birth date in the sign of Virgo or Pisces. It was intense over the last 3 to 5 years. So, because before that, Saturn was in Pisces' 12th house and in Virgo's health house. So there's been this span subtracted from 2026 of 3 to 5 years back, time jumping back, that can help us really see the answers that we have now, the availability of change. And that does, as Nicole said, there is certain levels and platforms of grieving for us to be able to say, it worked then. I was pissed at them then. They hurt me. They said I hurt them, and it was gaslighting and la 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 la. And we shift from the abuse factor, whether we were tolerating it or dancing with a part of it. The strength of Aries is going to say, yeah, we're going to get rid of that abuse. But let me tell you something. Those of you out there that want to choose to play the immature temper tantrum, I want my way or the highway, and you go get into that unmanaged anger, and however you want to project your crap out there, Saturn and Aries will kick our butts in the Aries part of our chart. So go quickly on your little free sites, or maybe invest in a qualified seasoned astrologer and let them help you understand the best path of all possible of what it means with having Saturn moving through Aries over the next 3 years, somewhere in all of our charts. How might you use the logic, star logic of astrology, to be able to see that's the area of my chart where the brakes are going to come on only as long as I'm blocking something, only as long as I'm not dealing with something, because Saturn rewards every time we take responsibility for what we allow or what we're doing. Is that got the clarity? Has that got the integrity? Because the best part of Saturn is authenticity and the safe elder and the teacher and the protector. But, excuse me, honey, I ain't doing the work for you. You're going to do your work. I'm Saturn. Yeah, okay. So we're going to see rewards around Virgos and Pisces. And there's some new work to be done for mainly 3 signs: Aries, Libra, because that's Aries polarity opposite, and it's the 12th house of Taurus. So it's the sign before Taurus. So now Taurus people, if they're savvy, long before Saturn ever gets in the next sign of Taurus, Taurus people are going to be the best candidates, Taurus and Scorpio, to go do psychological, physical body ceremonies and seminars and webinars and lectures. Get yourself out and get some perspectives on natural healing, holistic food ingredients, more home cooking, how to better take care of your animal. Add taurine. Oh, there it is. It sounds like Taurus, doesn't it? Taurine. It's just a mineral. Dogs and cats need it. You open up the capsule, put it in their food. It's a calmative. It's an anti-seizure. No, I'm not a vet. No, I don't claim to be. Have I worked with it since I learned about it in 2002? Yup. So, and humans can take taurine. It's an essential mineral. That's all it is. So learn your dosages and mix it in some healthy stuff and get that in your pets. It helps them back off cognitive decline. Oh, humans too. Look it up. It's especially good for women. So taurine and the energy of where we will now allow our steady, step-by-step practicality because of Uranus being in Taurus over the last 7 years. I'm thinking 2007, 2008 kind of a deal. Now it's going to go in late spring into the sign of Gemini. And that's what fascinated me, Nicole, to have you talk about the high-tech stuff, because I'm admitting right here, I don't know anything about Gemini on that, but my father worked at NASA, and there was part of the space program. He would say, you know that astrology stuff? He said, NASA's calling it Apollo and Gemini. And I said, oh, that's the Greek and Roman myth stuff going on, Dad. But Gemini, I said, are they, by the way, going to have, 2 rockets or do things dually? And he goes, yeah. And I said, yeah, Gemini's the twins. So it ties back into some ancient star knowledge. And there's a reason why people like to nickname animals or dogs or their lovers, and they want to put that name on the ship. And that sort of, like right now, historically, the Constellation ship that is the only remaining water-worthy, sea-worthy, it's actually in the water now. The Constellation was the only surviving ship back in like 1854, the Civil War time kind of a thing. And it's named the Constellation. And I heard that on the news today. I'm like, damn, that's good. I'm not missing that. So again, before we go forward in the signs and all, this is a cycle that you are better served by being able to allow yourself to develop more gratitude in that, oh boy, I dodged a bullet. Oh, that glass fell and it didn't break. And oh Lord, I left the heater on. Yeah, there's going to be some things to where it could have gone way off the rails and real wrong. and you dodge that bullet, as they say. And then it's also going to be supernatural favor and some of your visions that you abiding and releasing and cleansing any of your fears that have hung around with you and only you know and God for way too long, those backlashes of abuse or fear that happen in our lives. So this is a big cleansing year. Aries starts the new cycle. Neptune hasn't been in Aries for 165 years. Saturn hasn't been in Aries for 30 years. So, and this energetic signature of the A team of Aquarius right now, and Aries beginning to come in on that and shake hands and be partners and be dual yang brothers out there in the manifestation realm. It's very yang, it's very electrical, and it's fire and air. So fire has to have oxygen to burn. We love incense, we love candles, we love essential diffusers. How you work and operate with the atmosphere of your frequencies and your attitude, and how you up your game and how you express and communicate what's important to you at this crossroads point in your life, what you'd like to see begin, what you'd like more of, and also the decision to close the door and less of that and less of that. I'm done with that. That's also the ability to have the strength of Aries to go, been there, done that. Mm-hmm. Yep, didn't buy the t-shirt.
Yeah. And also, I mean, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is the beginning of their new cycle, which is about 36 years or so. Is that correct? Something around there.
Yes, exactly.
And the last time they were together was in Capricorn. So the last time we saw Saturn and Neptune together starting their cycle was a Capricorn themed cycle. So now we're going to see an Aries themed cycle over the next 36 years. And, again, this is how I think different civilizations start to come in, because Neptune rules different borders and no borders. And then you have Saturn that is borders. And so, and then you have Aries being the kind of like the people in a sense, the me. And so this is going to be a really interesting next 36-year cycle of this Neptune-Saturn conjunction, but also for you, what does that mean for you? And with it happening at 0 degrees, this is very big. Like it's like a 6,000 year cycle since this actually happened. So we're not talking about something that is very common here. This is a big deal. And this is going to be happening in the next 3 weeks. So we've got this incredible change coming in the beginning. It's not like expect anything crazy to happen on that day specifically for you, although something could happen, but it's really about the beginnings of the cycle. So with all that being said, Mary, did you want to say anything else about this full moon before we jump into the signs?
Focus on the heart, breathe, do some daily practice, no matter what you're doing, cooking, walking, texting, whatever. Breathe with deliberation and focus, allowing the presence, the higher good, the dynamic light, creator, Holy Spirit, the breath of the divine, literally to take that nanosecond and let it breathe into you, breathe with it as a team type of effort, Aquarius, because Leo is about, I have the right to be myself. I have the calling, and I have to direct my willpower, because where will my I am now be a priority? Where will I prioritize giving? And where will I notice reciprocity, how that is the flow of give and take? I receive, I give. It can't be stymied on either side of that now. You can't overgive to your lover or over expect of this or that. It's time for it to be balanced but again, Leo's the attitude of gratitude too. Leos can be very generous. And they can also be very manipulative in how it's going to orbit or cycle around them, depending on the intention of the Leo. But Leo is yang, and it's an electric type of attraction. It's what draws us in. It's the gaze that we get when we're at the ceremony or the campfire or the fire of the sunset. You know, when that day is closing, and it's like, okay, this canvas of this day, this moment. There's some moments we really want to just stare at that sunrise or that sunset and say that this is a big moment in my life. There may be a lot of things I kind of forget, but this wasn't just something I'll remember. This was, as I said, game-changing, life evolving. So I just keep feeling this full moon sets the tone for revealing to us where the win is, where the action needs to be, where you deserve it. Now, because you're blessed, the way that alchemy, the way that energy reciprocity works is that, whoa, that's a blessing. And I now will go forth and give. And so the giving might be a smile. The giving might be you gave to someone, mailed something to someone, you know, you said something to someone, had to say no to something else. Those are gifts too sometimes, because if we've always given in and we've always been the main expected one, and there comes a point where spirit says no to us, or it's a boundary that you set after gaining wisdom and knowledge about it. Leo is about the ability to say, don't underrate your gifts, don't overexpect of other people, and realize that exactly how it's happening this way right now, coming into this mid-January to mid-February cycle, you know, this full moon in Leo and this ring of fire solar eclipse in Aquarius. This is the time where Aquarius, air, breath, spirit, direction and guidance, and Leo, my heart longs for this. My heart can't seem to let go of that. My heart feels uplifted. My heart feels restricted. This is like clean house in the heart chakra cycle. That's what it is. So even when you hear your signs, your sun signs or your rising signs forecast, the focus is one of Leo's statements is, I will, you know, it's the will, it's the desire. When you do the etymology of the word desire, it means of the Father, desire. Yes, sire. Yes, my king. So this has to do with right now with Leo. What would you prioritize so much that I would say to you, what are your royal rules? What are your kingdom rules? You know, where do you allow yourself to sit on the throne? Even in your meditations, let yourself be visually seated on a crown of light that's a throne, you know, that you are literally one with the visual and the breathing, and receive those frequencies back into you to strengthen you. If there's something that needs to be healed, it'll do it. If there's something that you need to manifest that your heart or your body wishes to have a closeness with, it'll do it. So it's about you getting not so scattered. There's a difference between scattered attention, pay attention, and where you are committed to the ride. So as we're arriving at our manifestation, Leo the lion is the king of the jungle. So Leo the lion is saying, bitch, you're going to go through a forest. You're going to go through a forest and you're going to figure out, are you the predator or is something wanting to see you as the prey? I find it interesting, Nicole, that when I come into Leo season of major astrological dances in that sign, I always write down on my note card, and yes, I physically write it down, not just play with my cell phone. I write down the two words, P-R-E-Y and P-R-A-Y. And I just stare at it and I say, I get the dynamic, the plus or minus of both, but I ain't nobody's prey, P-R-E-Y. And I don't choose to move into the predator consciousness at all. So sometimes part of your soul evolvement will require you to go through some people or some months or some experiences that can teach you, boots on the ground, what's something that's draining your energy, or it's becoming pernicious, or it's becoming something that's a thief. That funny meme, you are a thief of joy. You know, it's beginning to steal or take away energy from you. And sometimes that's us wanting to project that onto somebody else innocently, but yet it's happening. So we have to look at that we're shifting frequencies by choice. I'm choosing that I want to activate more the energy frequencies and receptions of the power of prayer and the power of good intentions and affirmations, and that which will affect my energy and be very harmonious energy engine effects, rather than me finally giving something my attention because it seems to be infecting or draining my aura or my energy. So you don't let people become parasitic. You don't let people become energy vampires. You trust first your divine reason, your soul contract, why you are here. And if you feel that like that confuses you, just sit down, meditate, pray, hike, go in nature. And when trouble seems to knock at your door through the news you didn't want to get, you don't think it's fair that you have to go through it. You got that news, or, oh, here we go again. Instead, just say, I'm going to allow all that is divine, all that is of the majestic healing, all that is of the almighty I am prosperity, and what is the best course for my heart, my body temple, and the prioritization of the strengths of my soul as one with, unified with, the almighty I am frequencies of light. Something like that, and certainly use your own words. But Leo is the light of the sun. However you want to play that out, Leo is ruled by the sun. Leo is the two cards in the tarot, the sun, number 19, and number 8, strength. And so those would be the visual cards that would be on your altar if you're a reader for yourself or other people. When you're doing any kind of reading, it'll work all the way through. So February 19th or 20th, there's a target day again, to look in your own readings or for someone else if and when the strength card comes up or the sun comes up, or start with that as the card that represents you. We call that in tarot talk, we call that the significator, that which you are wanting significant information about. So the strength card and the sun card combined packs a wallop of a nice emission of light, a nice holy radiation. And so let that be the radiating presence. Just even if you just use words and it's just the starting point for you, just simply say, I choose the presence of holy light. I breathe the majesty of sacred love. I am an antenna that is protected and prospered by all that is sacred and of the good. Amen. Aho. So you're uplifting your frequency. You're doing the electromagnetic surge and purge kind of a thing. So remember, we're coming into that new moon, Nicole, in February. That's the final shedding of the snake, the wood snake year in Chinese astrology. And on that very new moon solar eclipse ring of fire, that's when we go into the fire horse. So right now, everybody I'm talking to, it's like you said at the very beginning of this podcast, I'm kind of still feeling something about 2025. And I kind of feel like I'm still taking off a coat or shaking off some snowflakes, or I think I'm going to feel really good when I go take a shower, because that's my little 3D earth light or baptism. So when you're working with the water right now, all the way up until that fire horse new moon Chinese New Year starting on February the 17th, it's okay to kind of look at and go, bye-bye now, thank you, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, whatever it is that you're finally able to shed and let go of. Hey, I bless it. It was a good teacher. It had to teach me in that kind of way till I finally went, oh man, I never looked at it that way before. Well, I looked at that wrong. Or, oh, okay, well, that's a new way to look at it. Yeah, that's Aquarius. That's what's going on right now too. And it's going to absolutely activate and evolve our pineal, our third eye. Mm-hmm. Our third eye. It's absolutely game changing on that. What we'll receive and what we'll see and how we're being healed.
Yes. Yes. And I will say this too, for this full moon in Leo too, you brought up that idea of prey and predator. And I think from a higher level of consciousness, because we think of Aquarius as the higher mind, from that Leo energy, I would ask you this question, let me present this question for you to ask yourself. What is it that my I am hunting for my future, that I choose to
Mhm.
hunt now? Is it, and what is it that my heart wants me to hunt? Because maybe what used to fulfill you does not fulfill you anymore. And there's something that's
100.
shifting through your own evolution of what you should pursue now. So, what is it that your heart wants you to pursue and hunt down for your future winnings? Because you also said that word too. It's like where you used to win may not be where you're going to keep winning. And it doesn't mean that's you become a loser. It means that your
No,
winning is evolving and it wants you to win in an evolved way somewhere else for your own evolution, right? You've completed something, you've done it. It's time to move on. And I think that's what might also be coming up for you in this full moon for Leo. So, with that said, we'll jump into the all signs, and I will also mention again, this is a very this is a turning point. We're heading into a 2-year timeline split here. So if you are really needing some help navigating what's ahead of you, if you're having trouble seeing what's ahead and need the insight of Mary or myself, you can go to Mary's website, marydusina.com, to book a reading with her, or I've left a link in the description notes below this podcast for you to book a reading with me, which I usually keep closed, but I have opened up until the end of this week. So if you want to get in, you can get in now. And also, I will say this, the 3-day 180 retreat is coming up on February 26th. This is the perfect time to literally grab your future by the bull's horns, take control of what's ahead, and be proactive. This is not the time for you to sit back, to just let things happen to you. You want to be a participant in your life when these things are happening, because when we have fated events such as the eclipses that are coming up, as well as this shift from the wood snake into the fire horse, this is where you either get dragged into something or you are already in there being a participant, churning up the wheels of fate for yourself. So it doesn't feel as heavy. You don't have that same resistance. You're already in it. And that's one of the blessings that can come from doing a very deep transformational change, such as what happens at my 3-day 180 retreat. So links for that are in the description below. And Mary, I will hand it off to you to jump into all signs.
thank you. So before we start with Aries, it's a Leo full moon. Full moons expand. Full moons lend more light. And it's the light of the silvery moon. And when it's in Leo, we talked a lot about the heart. The color is the violet, the lavender, the violet, the purple, the violet flame, Ascended Master Saint Germain type of teachings. Leo is also the part of us that will work on being braver and also being able to be comfortable. As we describe ourselves as what kind of warrior are we? What do we choose to protect? What do we choose to defend? So Leo, those are areas that Leo's always working on. And let us, girlfriend, not forget the hair. If you have ever known a Leo or a Leo rising sign, even if they're bald, they are very particular about the look of that forehead and that crown chakra. Leos are very invested in, even if you think it's absolutely wild and off the charts, Leos relax when their mane, M-A-N-E, when their hair and that head, that look as you look above their eyes and to the side of their eyes. Remember, it's the lion's eyes. So it has a lot to do with if the lion lets you see them, they want to present themselves. There's the theatrics and the stage and the performer and the director and the actor that Leo absolutely naturally is, and the happy inner child, where we learn that level of stuff around 7 to 8 years old in our life. So Leo's like that age, 7 to 8, 7 to 9. That consciousness is coming up in all of us right now, expanding as we go to the gift of the light of the full moon. So favored signs right off the bat. favored signs, but when I say favored, and I know Nicole's going to snicker, when we say favored until we get out of March, the intensity meter is still on high. Yep, it's still over there, 100% intense. So when I say favored, things can come in probably faster. And it's like, rapid fire type of a thing can happen to the fire signs of Aries, which I'm going to speak on. Leo, of course, the moon is in your own sign, and Aries is compatible with you, even though Aquarius is going to pull you out a little bit. And then Sagittarius. So right off the bat, Aries, it's their 5th house. Leo, it's their 1st house because they're number 1 right now with the moon. And then Sagittarius, it'll be your 9th house. Those are the fire signs. So we're going to go in order, though. So Aries, it's your 5th house. So here's what's different about any year an astrologer would be talking to you about a full moon in Leo. You have other brothers joining the walkabout. You've got other braves and warriors, and there's a chief energy that's advising you. So the chief Aries is Aquarius energy. That gets along with you. Yeah, you're the 3rd house of Aquarius. And then you've got the energy of a Leo full moon, and that's the head warrior. That's the warrior that the braves want to emulate. So the dynamic of what's going on for Aries is it's literally that zero world point of, there's an old song, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I think it was by a group called Crosby, Stills and Nash, might have been Wooden Ships, but they did a song. What I'm sure was they did a song, and part of the chorus as the song trails off says, "We have not been here before. We have not been here before." That's kind of like that Pisces Aries changeover, like they're leaving out from the shore, and there's others that are going in, coming back from an excursion. So for Aries right now, interestingly enough, you'll learn the most from anger management. You'll learn the most from engaging your inner child with humor, comedy, the spirit of play. If you happen to have children, mainly children, even if you have grandchildren, if you have children, Aries, even though they may be adults, your children, there's a dynamic that's going to happen that you both can meet on the top of the bridge, and you're going to be able to have that restorative convo. You're going to be able to see each other in some levels that are very pleasing to the both of you. There's something about the inner child of Aries, and if you have children, I would say it's the firstborn child, but children in general. And then I feel like that the creative mojo and the prosperity juju is amping up. Yeah, it's amping up for Aries. They have one other little cycle to get through once we start getting all these planets going, to personal planets going into Pisces. But I feel in 2026 for Aries, as we shifted from Capricorn, now we've got this stellium of Aquarius, and I feel like that's going to electrify and balance and stimulate the type of inspirational partner, significant other, person that you engage with, and you have such an incredible psychological mental connection with. So there's something about Aries getting people to see them and hear them the way they need to express themselves, and that getting easier, and also people that just, get them, kind of a thing. So I feel for Aries that you're going to have to be a little more patient, Aries, with people around you now going through these intense changes. I mean, it can turn on a dime. It can all of a sudden be, whoa, my aunt didn't used to act like, I've never seen my aunt do that. And whoa, that was interesting. So there's a lot of, nobody needs to go seeking drama right now, because the divine's got some drama on the chessboard of fate that it's got to put into play. And the karmic sheriff, karmic sheriff's real busy too. That's Saturn. Saturn, the karmic sheriff, is real busy right now. He's the new sheriff in town. New, bold, brighter, intense. Never thought I could do that. Wow, that's interesting. Whoa, that moved me. So things that move us, and they don't just move us, but especially for you, Aries, are they moving you into an elevated type of state with yourself, to where you're not guilty, you're not, feeling downtrodden, because you're standing to your, to thine own self be true. So for Taurus, this is family dynamics. That's a different toolbox. For Taurus, there's like a big relief coming for Taurus when Uranus gets out of their sign and goes into Gemini, and how that's playing out in the world as we're seeing the discussions about these additives and those ingredients and how that's made and how that food dye doesn't need to be into that, and the difference in the eggs, and ad nauseum, on and on and on. So it's a really good time for those people who haven't done the deeper dive research to go, I had no idea. That's why we say it in the South, Nicole, instead of I had no idea. You know, in the South, I had no idea. So it's like you kind of have to learn a different cultural language. So for Taurus right now, it's about what matters the most in the comfort of my cave, my shelter, my home base. So they might be focusing on rearrangements or new build outs, or going through clutter, or making some money on the old stuff so they can buy the new gadgets, or giving some other stuff away to the thrift store. There's something going on about Taurus feeling like that they're more at peace and they can reinvent things if they just calm their hyper little ass mentally down and find that room or that space to where they just walk in there and go, oh, I got to have full control of how I decorated this and the colors that are in here. And this room hugs me every time I come into it. It might be a bathroom. It might be the kitchen. Doesn't matter. Taurus has now got to find that psychic pasture. It's got to be able to know that when they're in that room, and some people it might just be the option to watch or listen to music or something on TV or with your electronics in the bedroom, or not. So there's something about how it soothes the mind. With Taurus, they've got to soothe the mind. And so this full moon hitting the fourth house is beginning to help Taurus accept within themselves, I don't have to work that kind of way and that hard and do more of this and more words and less pictures. And I don't have to do that to myself anymore. Somewhere that dynamic, I mean, you already are the effective worker, or you already are very dedicated to your cause. So there's no need to go into overdrive with it. And for this, because there's so many other planets changing, you know, Taurus, you're getting challenged by all this Aquarius stuff. And so because of all of that, and Aries being the 12th house to Taurus solarly, this full moon is saying to you one thing. All those words, all that word salad, one thing. Are you mothering yourself? Is it time for you to kind of let it bloom a memory? One of the best memories around your grandmother or your favorite aunt or your mother, you know, one of the older women than you, one of the elderly women in the tribe. There's something about you getting some new laughs and some new, like, oh man, I know exactly what my mother meant with that now. I didn't get it then, but boy, it serves me now. Something about that, and the Earth Mother, even when we're in the season of winter here and in the chill, you know, Mother Nature has her seasons. And I've never met anybody more aware of that than a Taurus, how they do their life. I mean, they prep, they prepare, they can be hyper vigilant, but there's something about Taurus, especially in the Capricorn part of winter, to be able to say, yeah, this is the sweet spot. I can plan, I can write, and I can put the pen down, and I can put my phone down. And when you Taurus get into the next Pisces part of this, that's going to be a very effective stream of consciousness for you, and new ways for you to deliver the idea and to relax with the motivation. If you're Gemini, big year for you, Gemini, big year for you. Let's start off with the good stuff. Saturn and Neptune going into Aries is lovely for you, Gemini. It gives you new ways to fix it, mend it, heal it, sell it, buy it. And the fact that these Aquarian planets are dancing around you right now, there's a level of ooh, that's a solution, of damn, I'm glad I resolved that. That took a while. So there's a lot of things that are moving quicker, and they're sliding. It's like when you finally get that lid to lock the right way on something you want to store properly. So it's that, or when you get off the call with the representative, faster. So for Gemini right now, there's a dynamic of intellectual compatibility. And I feel like the Aquarius and the Aries both salute you. Yeah, that's nice. You will need to keep a lid on it, and you will need to put yourself in check at that Virgo full moon that comes up in early March. So just, you know, calm your butt down. Oh, look how early Nicole and I are letting you know this information. Yeah, we're just at the front door of February, and we're telling you to calm your ass when you get close to the first week of March. Go easy on the people that love you. Go easy on the people that in their heart, they want to understand you. So stop jumping on the defense so quickly, Gemini. Stop, look, and listen. Oh, yeah, that part. Listen. So if you're a Cancer, I'm liking this year for you. I will tell you, if you're moon sign Cancer born, the first part of this year has been really intense. It's a lot of that stuff that's shifting and just touched its foot into Aries last year in March through, started in March and May of 2025. Now it's coming up again. And so I feel Cancers right now has been in a cycle that they want to, like a Cancer, like an ocean crab walks, it backs up and it goes sideways. Cancers go really well looking at both sides of the situation before they decide if they're going to go into it or back away from it. That's really been strong with Cancers, even though Jupiter is happy, we call it exalted in astrology in the sign of the moon Cancer, it's retrograde. And so when it makes its next dive into the sign of Leo, that's when the type of reward that you Cancerians like, I want to see it tangible, I want some more money, I want some things paid off, I want to be able just to have that redesign done on my home, and I don't want people to demand too much from me. Yeah. So that's coming. That's coming in July. And as Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer is retrograde right now, and the Leo full moon is up, here's your clues of you being able to give yourself permission, Cancer, that you don't have to be on call all the time. And that if you're feeling that inner frustration, or I need people to leave me the hell alone, or I don't want to answer that, or why do people just look at me? If you're feeling that right now and the past is still trying to be in the baby mobile above your head, remember Leo's the inner child. It's like maybe some of the pieces of that little over the crib mobile broke and it doesn't even turn around anymore, or you don't like it anymore. You know, so there's some new ways that you need to go and hang out with and spin in your circles. And there's some things that probably Cancer have been bugging you from the last 3 years that you need. There's something especially with you Cancers that happened 3 to 3.5 years ago, and you kind of got a little blindsided, and it kind of wasn't really fair. And how come they did it that way? How could they do it that way? And who do you think I am anyway? Really? So that was hard, because you Cancerians don't give your trust or your vulnerability easy. You give of yourself a lot, but you don't tend to, even though you're busy giving and making it easier and more effective for those that you care about and that you have value to, that you're compatible with. Sometimes you're so busy making sure, and Cancers are damn good at it, someone feels comfortable, someone has a soft moment. It's not easy for them to do it for themselves, but they expect it, but they hope for it. To them, it's logical. It's like, why the hell wouldn't you want to do that? And the same kind of sort of way with me, because I prioritized you. Yeah, reciprocity again. So for Cancers, how that value comes out is that they feel accomplished. They sell something. They get more money. They feel validated. So there's a cycle of value and worth and validation that's coming the closer you get to mid-February. Leo, yeah, the goddess and the king and the Lord of the Almighty I Am, the Lord of the fire, that can actually, sometimes we're asleep to something for a long time, and then the light comes on, and then the light bulb's over our head, and there's the Aquarius symbol of the idea that's born. All inventions were once an idea. Once something popped into our heads or appeared through our hearts, Leo, and manifested of like, why not? That's good. I need to write that down, or yeah, I'm interested in that, and we take that direction. So this full moon is a divine director. I'll say it again. This full moon, Leo, is the direction of the divine. It's a divine director. And no one's in that spotlight more than if you have a rising sign, a moon, because it's a full moon in Leo, or the sun in Leo. Now, if you have your sun in Leo, I would look more to your moon sign and your Mercury and your Venus. What's going on with that too? This 13 to 14, 12 to 14 degree of a Leo full moon, because what Leo's right now doing for those Leos that are born in the middle of that July-August timeframe of Leo, that mid-degree of Leo, is the lion's here. Yeah, the lion's sitting there saying, do you like that about yourself? Do you think that's the most effective way you can do that with self? Do you feel like you're empowered that way? I'm a lion and I'm here just to be an animal medicine totem teacher for you. And I'm going to say, do you think thinking or acting or behaving or not, reaction or action, do you feel good with where you've been with yourself since August of last year? Do you feel like that you have overcome the very parts of yourself that frightened you to where you felt like you were the prey and something outside of you was the predator, that was your only choice? What were you being hunted by? Why were you tired of feeling stalked by that thought or that fear or this life development as you walk this earth life, oh, but for a while? So the Leo lion isn't here to attack you. The Leo full moon is, I am the eyes of the sky. The sun is in Aquarius. The constellation is the water bearer. It's up in the stars. In most mythological things, it is a male-looking constellation figure, and he is pouring from an urn, from a big old vase, from an urn. Those are big vases, vessels. And he's pouring the stream of consciousness, the light of the stars, the star magic, the heavenly elixir, that which might quench our ever incessant mental thirst. Why me? Why not now? Why can't I have all that? The words, salads, spilling all over the place, word juggling. And so the Aquarius is pouring the answers, the tones, the frequencies, the music of the heavens, the dreams, the visions, the supernatural dynamic ways that you can be messaged to. Yeah, just on your errands. Spirit can show up an earth angel or a messenger that you're just checking out the store and something you hear or something that was said, and all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, that wasn't normal right there. That was interesting. Yeah, that was a mile marker. But okay, that wasn't just you every day. Get out there and do what you do and then get home and do it. Yeah, no. So there's this dynamic now that this full moon in Leo, until we get to July, August, is going to put you face to face, in person, not just text, not just emails, face to face, first with yourself. That goes on until we get to March, Leo. Because this next new moon eclipse is like really being able to softly look at yourself and yet release the memory and the leashes of anybody that hurt you or you felt that you were leashed to or in some kind of contract with. It's going to stop the loop, so to speak, and give you the release. If you're Virgo, this full moon is 12th house, immediately ties back to late July, August. And if you're Virgo, this full moon is the one before yours, which yours is an eclipse this year. So if you're a Virgo, it's going to be healing for you to reflect upon the best of your past. Go to those moments in your childhood. Let those harmony memories come into your dreams and your meditations, like you're deliberately doing your psychological and spiritual work by remembering your favorite relative and remembering the laugh of that person that you adored being around when you were between 7 and 13 years old. So this is about what were the best parts of you when you were coming out of a toddler into a young person, soon to be a teenager by 13. So this is for Virgo. For Virgo, this is about the elixir and the medicine and the alchemy of not just remembering the scary clown parts of our past or the things that we're disappointed by or that we were abused by or offended by. This for Virgo right now is, hi, we're your healing angels, and hi, these are your healing colors, and these moments in your home in the same room that you've known for a long time are different now because there's a glimmer and there's illumination and there's a realization that you have overcome a lot. And for you, Virgo, with these eclipses shifting, it's also a big release on the pressures for you. These eclipses for the last 3 years have been Virgo Pisces, and now they're shifting in to Leo Aquarius. So there's a big pressure coming off of how quickly the stress or the tension can be somewhat overbearing, eruptive, or explosive around both Virgo and Pisces, actually, but especially Virgo, because it's a rebirth time. Rebirth, like absolute brand new machine, brand new parts, et cetera, et cetera. If you're Libra, we won't spend a lot of time on you. The Aries thing is the big thing for you. You will be busy with that person that matters a lot. You will be redefining your rules with people that have always expected you just to do those things the same way every time they need you. You will be setting different boundaries with people that you love and matter most to you. However, as a Libra, if it's always been just that kid, and now you want to spend some quality time and have that win-win moment with the niece, the nephew, the grandkid, that's where you're going to prioritize your attention. But I would say mainly, it could be intimacy, your sensual partner, your ride or die. I believe with Libra, this is an energy about really embedding the friendship, really calling on, this is what we both know are absolutely good with you and I. We want to start with that as our structure, Saturn, our foundation, Saturn. We're going to start with the structure of we really genuinely like each other, and we can climb mountains or we can walk together in the valley. There may be chaos, there may be crisis, there may be confusion, but we will team up, Libra. We will level it out, scales of justice, and we will figure out the win-win. If you're Scorpio, it's 10th house, it's the top of your chart. That's a big medicine. All this Aquarius then is hitting your 4th house, which has to do with your ancestry, your soul's mission, purpose. I see a lot of Phoenix moments, which Scorpios are familiar with. I see the enlightenment bolt striking you without pain and without compromise. I feel like that Scorpios now are looking at what helps them to keep looking up and to keep celebrating life and to look at, where, if at all, they somehow have missed recognizing a darkness or something that would not measure up to what's the best of them. So Scorpios are kind of doing a personal spiritual cleansing, a bit of an exorcism, and an ability to transform and transmute it so it doesn't return again to try to taunt or haunt in the same kind of way. So Scorpio's been busy being able to be the metal detector or the energy antenna to recognize that that's not for you at this time. You don't even have to spend time analyzing it, judging it. Just if it feels like it's a no, that's a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. Sagittarius, it's 9th house. Sagittarians are always going to prioritize seeking the truth, honoring the way, finding the cultural beliefs and systems that they know is good medicine for them. So right now, Sagittarians, with this being in your 9th house, you're at home. It's very stimulating. Even when you're driving or flying or motorcycling or hiking or kayaking, this is a time where Sagittarius is not in a spin zone, but they're in a zone of where things are beginning to flow in the way that they don't feel restricted or obstructed. And so for them, that means then their favorite things that they listen to on audio, the favorite scriptures or books or texts that they saved or pictures that they saved because they like looking at them, those are all going to be really like oracle cards, really like talismans or bring good fortune. So right now, Sagittarius, whomever or whatever, has always been not just a mood boost, but a soul ignition. I feel like that writer, that song, that instrument, that musical instrument, I keep seeing a lot of aqua and teal is the color maybe that would be work around you, Sagittarius, to wear or do breath work with. If you're Capricorn, it's 8th house. So this full moon is saying to you, you have ascended. It's time to look back 18 years at what or who has supported you. And even if certain people moved, changed cities, states, countries, jobs, and you're not in each other's life all the time, Capricorn right now is going through a renaissance and a second visit to who has proved their worth in their life. Leo, worth, value. Who is the sparkle? Who is someone that has always been steady and reliable? That's important for Capricorn. And also the people that, whether you agree with them or not, whether your personalities are into the same things or not, Capricorn is like, even those people are really different or they live in other places or whatever. I like the way they talk. I got something out of that. It could be a talk show or a reality show, but it could be working in the garden. That's coming soon. But this has to do, the gardens of 2026 with that Aries. This has got to do with your holy work. And this has got to do with, I don't have to let any man-made rules describe what I can do and what I can't do. This is an inside job. The temple of the God is within me. The living God is within me, and I need to see if there's anything I need to check in with, or if there's anything that would like to give me some new skill sets or discernment. If you're Aquarius, okay. So follow me on this. You're Aquarius, you're in Aquarius, happy birthday to you. And there's all this kind of stuff that's going on in your sign going, I just feel like I'm walking around a little shaky because I've got so much stimulus going on. It's like when you didn't mean to bump in to the cattle wire or the hot wire that's for the goats or the sheep or the horses. You're like, hey, because Aquarius is their symbol, literally is the symbol for architects that has to do with electricity. There's electricity. It's live. There's live electricity. This is where the electricity will go. These are the outlets. These are the plug areas you're plugging into. So there's so much that Aquarius has in its cosmic shopping cart that they can plug into. There's so many irons in the fire and so many possibilities that I would just say this to you, Aquarius. Try not to wear yourself out wanting to hit all the options and open all the doors. But it's exciting, and I feel like that Aquarius is getting in harmony with the significant other within themselves. So I feel like Aquarius with this full moon is redefining, what do I like from a lover? How do I like to feel appreciated? Is it acts of service? Is it touch? Is it affirmations? Is it thank you? I'm glad you're in my life. Aquarius has got that kind of stuff going on with their significant others. And if you're Pisces, this is a wellness. It's sixth house. It's your call to duty. It's your soul service. It's got to do with getting that balanced out. All this stuff in Aquarius, Pisces, is helping you take out the trash. All this stuff in Aquarius for Pisces is allowing them to pause and intellectually appreciate where and what they used to fear or dread, and how these Aquarius lightning bolts, enlightenment, light meant for you, N-I-N, lightenment. So there's this light cleansing that's going on around Pisces right now. And even though they fought to have that blanket, that teddy bear, that prescription, that night out, that motorcycle, that adrenaline pump, or whatever it is, things are wanting to ask Pisces, can you settle down and be comfortable with something now strengthening and becoming an intimacy of empowerment? So there's something around Pisces now that they feel like their vulnerability went through every roller coaster known to man over the last 3 to 4 to 5 years. And now Pisces can go, holy moly. Yeah, I don't even want to write down or talk about all the stuff that got shown to me and that I had to look at and I had to see it another way at minimum over the last 3 years. Now the blessings come. Now the blessings come for Pisces. And the first deposit that Spirit always wants to bless us with, although we can interfere with it truly, is Spirit wants to bless our mind, and our mind then can relax our body, heal our body. So I would suggest, Pisces, that whatever you think gets the spirit and the essence of light into your DNA at your cellular levels, yeah, that's where I focus my attention. If that's going to the gym 3 times a week because you can tame your mind, or if that's you meditating or sitting down and praying or writing or whatever it is, for Pisces right now, the signature healing is that you are literally, because you're so heart-centered anyway, and so not wanting to see the pain inflicted upon anything or anyone innocent. Right now, if Pisces could inspire through their words, through encouraging words, through writing, how they write a post, how they do a blog, how they give a piece of advice on whatever platform you're on, Instagram, TikTok. Right now, Pisces, even though the reason you know how to do it is because of all the things that you've gone through, all the ways that you felt rejection, or that you felt, I'm afraid to hope, or you had to build your faith. It's a really significant time, I feel like, for Pisces people to offer words of healing. And if you're Aries, again, it's a game win for you. I would say that Aries, Aquarius, again, like I said at the beginning, there's intensity to this. So I would say that Aries, calm it down. Don't get into road rage. Don't get into speeding too much, Leo. Don't take risk in an immature kind of way, Aquarius. I mean, it's time to be. I would suggest you. There's Aries is fast. with all this stuff going into Aries, Aquarius, something can be a game changer and happen so quickly that I'm telling you, you didn't see it coming because what you were going to see was by you going through it. So this is like that cycle of going through it. So it's like choose wisely, choose better, and trust your soul sight. Trust your soul sight. Know that the light and the visions and the dreams and the healing are now paramount. They're like right there, and they're saying, could you just invite me? Because, God gave you free will. Could you just invite me in a little bit? And I really can work in concert with being able to soothe the savage beast, lion, and be able that you don't have to even worry about hunting for anything or worry about predators, because this is the Lion of Judea. This is the Lion of the I Am. This is the King of Beasts. This is the lion, the pride. So the weak part of Leo is when we get filled with pride, avarice. We get greedy, we're attention seeking. Those are the lower qualities of Leo. Needy, too needy. So if you're a Leo right now, shut up about what your demands are and just really bask in how this full moon wants to feed you and quench a thirst and restore you. And you don't have to hunt, and you don't have to worry about predators. So you don't have to go out there and be in the spotlight. The moon is your spotlight right now. And in astrology and in mysticism, the moon is the high and the low tide of all the fields, and it's clairaudience and clairvoyance, and it's wanting you to go to the oceans of insight within you, those dimensions, your higher chakra, your higher realm dimensions. There's a lot that the spirit and the sacredness that loves you wants to give to you.
Well, thank you for that rundown, Mary. It was very, very descriptive, very thorough. So thank you very much for that. I will say that I know a Pisces. I live with a Pisces sun and a Pisces moon, and he certainly has been going through it the last 3 years. But I can also see, as Saturn's literally getting ready to depart now for good, the rewards starting to come in. So I know big relief is coming for the Pisces.
Our lovely Pisces. For our lovely Pisces. Oh, it's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
That Pisces is the sign that's in the line, the spotlight of Saturnian rewards. You will be blessed for your will to do. You will be blessed and rewarded for your dedication and your hard work. When Saturn gets out of your sign, the next 3 to 6 months are when you go, wow, I didn't look at it that way. It was so intense. It was so tough. And you bet your ass I'm blessed. You bet your butt I'm moving forward. And wow, I'm glad that's not going to happen for another 30 years. But dang, I am transformed. And it is a stronger me. It is a more concise me. It is a more appreciative me. And for you, Pisces, yeah, you can finally not have to worry about the roller coaster. Now, you may be the soul in service to attend other people. You may be a first responder in a sense, spiritually and psychologically. And again, because of all that you've had to go through, your Pisces way of communicating and expressing and showing might be, if you always were a speaker, you're writing. If you always held it back, you're embracing. So if you had a hard time trusting, or you did trust easy, most Pisces trust too easily, and you got burned and you got kicked and you got sad and you got rejected and you got stolen from, Saturn is going to reward you, even though that or they stole from you or took inappropriately. Now you are going to be blessed 10,000-fold, as they say, or 1,000-fold, because you gave for the right reasons. You shared with dedication. And if someone came back as a vampire to that, it's not even that you're judging them. It's not even that you're going to shame or blame yourself or them. It's just like, I'm done. Guillotine drop. That sounded good. Not to cut off their head, but to slam the door and cut the connection, because its time has come. It proves the direction it was in. And it's either, and I'll finish with this, something that is an energy that is continuing to uplift and evolve us in the best, better versions of ourselves, or its time has come and it's not good medicine for you. Yep, you can still take it, but it's not the best medicine for you. So Spirit is gifting us and asking us to embrace the way that Spirit is going to help us inspire other people, and be able to receive the bounty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Mary, for joining us again this month for the full moon in Leo. We'll be seeing you next time for the eclipse, right? Yeah, the eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Virgo. Oh my.
Oh, I love it. I love the Pisces Virgo stuff. Yeah, we got a big one coming up, audience.
Yeah, we're going to have to pre-discuss that one because I know I'll be at my retreat. I'll be coming back from the retreat just as on I think our retreat ends on is it the 1st of March is the eclipse in Virgo?
I think it's the 2nd.
The 2nd.
Hold on, audience. Bear with us. Because you're going to want to know, audience. You're going to be emailing and calling us going, when is it? We love you. Thank you. So we're doing our work right now live on air for you. So, Nicole, the actual naming of the eclipse is the 3rd. Yeah. So it's going to be the mid 12 degrees of Virgo on Tuesday, the 3rd. So
we can do it live on the eclipse. Yes, we can actually go live on that Tuesday.
I'm writing it down. I am writing it down right now because what did I just say? Leo is prioritize those and that which you value. And I will easily admit that I'm grateful. I'm thankful for this format and this platform of how Nicole and I can join our forces and amplify the gift giving to you energetically. And I'm grateful that all of you realize that the best ceremony, the best reading, whether it's astrological, oracle, intuitive, healing, whatever, the best healing, the best rise that you'll get is when you all of a sudden, deep inside of you, nobody else could have known, have a confirmation. Wow, that card was a confirmation. Whoa, that ceremony, that seminar opened me up. Whoa, those words unlocked me. Let 2026 be the key. The keys. You can have more than one key. The keys that help unlock you in God's own perfect way. So I'm writing down on the 3rd. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And also to all of
all
of you who are listening, if you're worried that you need the information before the actual eclipse, don't you worry, because a lunar eclipse plays out over 3 months. So this is something.
It's just the launch.
It's just the launch. So we will definitely be back live for that. And of course, don't forget, if you'd like to book a reading with Mary, you can go to her website, marydusina.com. I've left all of the links in the show notes for you guys as well. You can book a reading with me until the end of this week. I think Saturday, the 31st, the end of the month. So January 31st, you have an opportunity to book an intuitive reading with me. And I think that's it. So guys, just remember, full moons in Leo, they can be a little dramatic. You can have a little dramatic flair. You may want to make a big deal out of something. If you're gonna, make sure it's worth it. Okay. Make sure it's worth it.
The sizzle on the fire is worth it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Make sure it's worth it.
Turn it toward pleasure. Yeah. Turn it toward pleasure. Do the pleasure side and the romantic and the appreciation side of Leo instead of, I said, come outside.
All right, guys, with all of that, Mary and I love you guys very much.